Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Aaron Dalloway. I am the safety officer for the Bureau. I'm just going to be doing the safety briefing for the auditorium. So please give me a few minutes of your time while I go through the procedures that we will take in the event of an emergency. So in the event of an emergency and an audible alarm will sound, or you will be advised verbally. Proceed in a brisk but orderly fashion to your closest safe exit point. So we have two exits at the top, two exits at the base, left and right. Follow the arrows on the walls and make your way out of the building, From there, proceed to the western car park and assemble by the security booth. That's our muster point. Should you require assistance at the muster point, or if somebody from your group is missing, advise one of our wardens and they will attend to you. You have to remain at the muster point until you get the all clear from a member of our leadership team. Housekeeping, the restrooms are located to the opposite end of this entrance here. Okay, that's it for me. I'll now turn you over to the host, Ms. Felicia. Oh, sorry, Mr. Trio.
You're handing off my responsibility for this morning. Good morning. Before we start, can I ask if we can please put our cell phones on silent? With that, we can all stand for the national anthem. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Good morning again. Senator, the Honorable Paula Gopi-Skun, Minister of Trade and Industry, Ambassador Peter Cavendish, Head of Delegation, European Union Delegation to Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Derek Omar, Chief Executive Officer, CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality, Mr. Emil Ramkissoon, Vice President, Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association, Ms. Vashti Gayodin, Chairperson, National Quality Awards Committee and Chief Executive Officer of the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industries, Ms. Rihanna Paul, Manager, Trade and Business Development, Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Mr. John Gourmandi, Chief Executive Officer, Acting National Petroleum Marketing Company Limited, Mr. Cyril Best, Executive Director, Acting Institute of Marine Affairs, Mr. Lawford Dupree, Chairman TTBS, Management and Staff of the TTBS, specially invited guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. As you can tell from my accent, I am not from Trinidad and Tobago, but I plan to be a Trinbagonian very soon. As the Executive Director of the TTBS, I would like to welcome you on behalf of the Board of Directors, management and staff of the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards to the first official launch of the National Quality Awards and also the presentation of the accreditation certificates to the National Petroleum Company Limited and the Institute of Marine Affairs. Today's launch forms part of the National Quality Awards Recognition Program. This program will recognize businesses that apply quality standards and quality management systems and practices in their daily operations. Quality is a moving target, and quality is often difficult to define. However, we certainly know when it is absent, especially when a good or service doesn't meet our expectations. As the national standards body, TTBS has the responsibility to balance the economic development of the nation in alignment with the welfare of the citizens, and it aspires to achieve this through its work in supporting the effective implementation of the 2018-2030 National Quality Policy and the further development of Trinidad and Tobago's national quality infrastructure. Embedded and applied practically, the national quality system not only can, but will improve the ease of doing business, increase exports and productivity, and more importantly, to cast that wide net, that safety net for consumer health and safety and the environment. In this regard, TTBS continues to work with the Ministry of Trade and Industry to implement the work program of the National Quality Policy, and is strategically poised to support the task of developing a national quality system that is consistent with the government's vision for the advancement of Trinidad and Tobago towards a first world status. Today's event will highlight the importance of quality and the numerous benefits that your business can achieve from the adoption of standards and quality management systems. We at the TTBS are proud to do our part in helping maintain our role as a leading national institution for standards and quality in Trinidad and Tobago, and we look forward to your keen attention for today's landmark National Quality Program for the role it will play in recognizing excellence in quality. A warm welcome to each of you. Now, to move on with today's agenda, please allow me to now introduce and welcome our chairman for his remarks, Mr. Lawford Dupree.
Thank you, Jose. The minister is pressed for time this morning, so she's asked me to declare that all protocols have already been observed. So we don't need to go through the long list of salutations. Okay, miss? That's okay? Okay. So it is indeed a great pleasure to welcome you all here this morning to the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards as we host the launch of the inaugural National Quality Awards Program, as well as presenting certificates to 2 public laboratories who have been successful in achieving accreditation to an international standard. I extend a special welcome to all the representatives here today from the private sector, the state, and civil society. As Mr. Trejo already mentioned, the TTBS has been working closely with our line ministry, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, to implement the work program of the National Quality Policy, which was approved by Cabinet in 2018, and is strategically poised to support the task of developing a national quality system consistent with the government's vision for the advancement of Trinidad and Tobago towards a first world status. It is a task which will require the sustained availability of competent and committed human resources, and perhaps most importantly, the support and cooperation of all the ministries and agencies that must make a contribution towards achieving the objectives of the National Quality Policy. And I can't emphasize the word sustained enough. And Madam Minister, I want to thank you for your unrelenting support in this regard, and we certainly look forward to your continuing help in bringing the National Quality Policy into full implementation. To all our guests, your presence here today emphasizes the fact that you and the organizations you represent have a critical role to play in developing the national quality infrastructure for Trinidad and Tobago that is not only appropriate to our needs, but hopefully will influence behaviors that can positively impact our national capacity and performance. And just to be clear what I mean, a national quality infrastructure system is a combination of quality-focused organizations, institutions, agencies, regulatory frameworks, activities, and people operating under the umbrella of a national quality policy. And this is aimed at the delivery of goods and services which meet or exceed the expectations of local and international consumers. I hope that makes it a little bit clearer. While our activities here include all the facets of the national quality infrastructure, such as accreditation, standardization, metrology, and conformity assessment, the TTBS is but one component of the national quality system. Other actors in the society must also step forward and do their part. And without this cooperation and a strong mutual commitment to a national quality system that works for the benefit of all, I need not elaborate on the inevitable outcome that this journey that we are embarked upon, where it will end up. It will end up in a garbage heap, just to be blunt about it. Under the National Quality Awards program, the Bureau will recognize businesses, no matter what their size, that apply standards and quality management practices to deliver products and services that lead to greater customer satisfaction. In November later this year, during the National Quality Month, the prize-giving ceremony for the National Quality Awards is expected to take place. As such, the awards program is open to all businesses engaged in manufacturing, agriculture and agro-processing, and services of every kind. It is hoped that the National Quality Awards program will spur companies operating in the local and international markets as they compete for recognition to place the establishment of sound quality framework in their organizations as a priority objective and strive for continuous improvement in what they offer the public. Such awards, in turn, will help to establish Trinidad and Tobago as a place where quality is actively pursued and brand our local companies as ready and able to trade and negotiate at a regional and international level. In 2019, the Ministry of Trade and TTBS launched a program to have public laboratories accredited to an appropriate international standard for non-medical laboratories. This program is a vital component of the state's activities to improve Trinidad and Tobago's global competitiveness by assuring the general public and other interested parties that public laboratories which test, calibrate, and measure critical elements required for trade and other important facets of the national economy are operating in accordance with internationally accepted good practices and benchmarks. As evidence of the progress made in strengthening our quality infrastructure, today will mark the achievement by two state-owned organizations of being accredited to the International Standards Organization standard for non-medical laboratories, which is ISO IEC 17025. I congratulate National Petroleum Marketing Company and the Institute of Marine Affairs on being the first public laboratories to reach this milestone. So please give them a hearty round of applause. It is my fervent hope that sooner rather than later, all laboratories, non-medical and medical, that provide services to the public will follow their example, whether by commercial incentives, internal policies, or regulatory decree, and we stand ready to assist them. When a majority of citizens and organizations embrace the value of quality in everyday life and business and demand it more consistently and vigorously of those in the public and private sectors who supply the services and products they consume, we believe that there will be a powerful and positive impact on our national standard of living. I was told by my minister to stay away from this topic, but I'll mention it. I hope our roads, for instance. We have the best equipment here. We have the best materials. We have good engineers. We have every component of making sure the quality of our roads is of high international standards. And the public needs to beat that drum a little bit more to make it happen. So I ask all of you here today in your leadership positions of some kind to do your part in self-assessing your organizations and promote quality-enhancing behaviors and higher standards which will allow us as a nation to build a strong culture of quality. If you have any questions about the national quality policy and its elements, I want you to feel free to contact Mr. Trejo. If you're interested in our accreditation programs, I'm sure he'll be happy to make you an offer that you can't refuse. So thank you and good morning.
I promise not to speak of the roads again. But I do know the roads in Trinidad and Tobago. And they're not that, it's the same in Belize. So we have similar issues, Minister. Our chairman has reminded us of the importance of the sustained effort to collaborate, to coordinate the national quality infrastructure system and framework. So with that said, I would like to invite one of our key partners, Mr. Emil Ramkisoon from the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association.
A happy and healthy good morning to all protocols observed. It is my honor to provide distinguished remarks at the launch of the National Quality Program for Trinidad and Tobago and celebration of Call 1 of the Accreditation of Public Laboratories project on behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association. TTMA is aware that these initiatives are under the overarching project that entails building a quality culture in Trinidad and Tobago through implementation of national quality policy. The national quality policy, a pivotal policy in the manufacturing sector, as you know, will seek to address weaknesses in the existing national quality infrastructure and the trading environment to support the country's national export agenda of doubling export by 2025. This, of course, will push the national diversification thrust of Trinidad and Tobago. We are therefore moving towards a society and economy built on quality with these initiatives. In this regard, I would like to acknowledge the contribution of the CARICOM Regional Organization of Standards on Quality, the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the European Union, and the Caribbean Development Bank in these projects. These initiatives are expected to instill a culture of quality. Instilling the culture of quality, a vital element of any quality initiative, not only promotes global trade, but also boosts the local market and addresses human, animal, and plant health, as well as related safety needs. Over the years, we have seen the growth of the manufacturing sector and increase of exports due to the promotion of a quality culture in companies' policies and products, which is one of the leading factors, and thus companies should be recognized. The National Quality Awards will have numerous benefits, including but not limited to, firstly, it encourages a quality culture. Secondly, it promotes businesses and organizations to have a more structured approach to overall business and organizational performance. Thirdly, it recognizes businesses that have successfully implemented quality systems. Fourthly, it enhances the competitiveness of Trinidad and Tobago products and services. And lastly, it promotes an awareness of performance excellence as an increasingly important element of enhancing the competitiveness of Trinidad and Tobago companies. The Quality Awards launch come at an opportune time in that it allows a broader spectrum of stakeholders to be made aware of the internationally recognized services that are provided by institutions in different fields. Exporters have reported in order for them to be globally competitive, they must inculcate quality in every aspect of their business. In many cases, this is a determining factor for many businesses who want a focused edge over their competitors. Price is a factor, but not anymore. Quality is taking over. This is why it is important to have a forum such as the National Quality Awards that will show the importance of equality and its positive for reaching and rewarding effects. Today, it would be remiss of me if I do not extend congratulations to the accomplishment of two public laboratories. Laboratories under the Institute of Marine Affairs and the National Petroleum in being accredited for their testing processes. For a laboratory, accreditation status shows the technical competence of its personnel, the calibrated equipment used, the suitable techniques, the reference materials, the traceability of processes, and the appropriate environmental setting of the laboratory are verified. Therefore, it is great news indeed that these labs have been able to obtain this status. To conclude, there are many businesses inculcating quality culture in their businesses, including getting their products certified, meeting ISO standards and certifications, participating in stakeholder forums to deal with international standards, being part of the National Quality Council with these initiatives, and taking into account all the rigorous elements needed. We believe that more SMEs will be encouraged to undertake more initiatives that will ensure their sustainability. Thank you and congratulations again.
Thank you, Mr. Ramkissoon. For the past more than a decade, we've been working across the 15 member states to develop national quality policies, and that stems from the effort that we've seen at the regional level to develop a regional quality policy. So national quality policy is a subset of this effort in our region to develop the RQPs. And leading this effort has been the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality has been working with our member states throughout this time to get us to this point. So I would like to now invite Mr. Derek Omar, the CEO of the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality.
I'll have to raise this microphone after Mr. Jose talks. Minister of Trade and Industry, Senator the Honorable Paula Gopi-Scoon, and other distinguished members of the head table, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for being here today. Quality is not an act, it's a habit. This saying has been attributed to Aristotle, but in the development of quality infrastructure in our CARICOM region, it has become one of our now most used phrases because it is synonymous with our mantra of developing quality infrastructure in the Caribbean and exporting it to the rest of the world. The word act, according to the dictionary, is doing of a thing. It can also refer to a performance for show. Rather than just something you do, we are actually aiming for quality to become something that we very much value, and that is a habit. For us in the region, we are looking at trade to be one of the major linchpins to help us rebound from our depressed era of COVID-19, whether we are talking about the manufacturing and export of goods or the contribution of sectors like tourism services. The quality has to be more than just an act. It has to become a habit of ours. At the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality, we are aiming for it to become an ingrained attribute of our region, to become a settled tendency or a usual manner of behavior, the prime definition of a habit. And we're very pleased to hear TTMA speaking about the development of a quality culture and the furtherance of that in Trinidad and Tobago. You know, it shows that the message is spreading more and more. CROSQ is the regional network of the 15 bureaus of standards in the CARICOM region, as Mr. Trejo elaborated, and we work closely to collaboratively develop the tenets of quality infrastructure in the region. At the CARICOM level, this grouping of quality infrastructure bodies is led by the CROSQ Secretariat, which provides technical assistance, financial, and other resources towards the progression of this journey in quality. And what makes this structure unique, especially as we've been told, in some cases to the surprise of our international partners, is that it actually works. There are actual outcomes from these collaborations that result in tangible development of our national standards bureaus, as well as the other agencies that benefit from the interventions of CROSQ. The technical barriers to trade component of the 11th European Development Fund Economic Partnership Agreement with the European Union has been a major success opportunity for us in the region. And it is under that ambit that today's launch of the National Quality Awards in Trinidad and Tobago stands. The National Quality Awards that is emanating from the 11th EDF Technical Barriers to Trade project has a number of objectives that are circumscribed by the wider objectives of the Economic Partnership Agreement that CARICOM and CARIFORUM has with the EU, and that is to close the quality-related gaps that exist in key value chains, sectors, and organizations, to strengthen the quality infrastructure pillars of standards, metrology, accreditation, inspection, testing, and certification, and quality promotions, and to communicate the value of quality infrastructure across all CARIFORUM states, as the project also includes the Dominican Republic. We thank the European Union for working with CROSQ and CARIFORUM in this regard. The National Quality Awards in particular is about showcasing and communicating the value of quality infrastructure and the benefits of quality, not only as an enabling factor for productivity, but also as a business competitive strategy in its own right. It's about showing how implementation of standards and quality systems and procedures assist ordinary businesses, especially if you make quality the key component of your competitiveness strategy. The National Quality Awards program currently exists in our region in Jamaica, which has the oldest program in CARICOM, and in Guyana, and of last year, Suriname. Trinidad and Tobago and now St. Vincent and the Grenadines have stepped up to the plate this year with assistance of this 11th EDF Economic Partnership Technical Barriers to Trade program with CARIFORUM and the European Union. And as previously iterated by our colleague from the Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturing Association, the National Quality Awards in Trinidad and Tobago is geared to provide businesses with assessments of how they are objectively performing in the areas of quality and quality standards. Provide an idea of areas that can be improved following the gap analysis that are conducted among participating companies, as well as part of the evaluation process of the program. And I could dare say that the chairperson of the National Quality Awards has been well selected in the form of Ms. Vashti Gayadeen. We used to work together in a past life. She is really a meticulous person when it comes to research and development. So, Ms. Gayadeen, thanks for taking up that position. Additionally, the National Quality Awards give businesses that win or are singled out for accomplishments the bragging rights for being the best nationally in the adherence and the development of quality standards. They demonstrate the value that quality institutions such as the Bureau of Standards bring to our country in providing the services that facilitate national quality development. National Quality Awards also demonstrate how quality works and the impact it could have on national development. And in that respect too, I would dare say that maybe the potholes that coming up in our roads is coming less from maintenance of the roads and more from fixing of the WASA leaks in a more effective manner. Because every pothole you see started with water. Finally, National Quality Awards provide companies and countries with the ability to boost trading opportunities by moving firms closer to meeting trading requirements. And these are just a few of the benefits and reasons why the National Quality Awards is a good intervention for a country. At the regional level, we have seen how the implementation of a National Quality Award increases confidence in the business sector, as well as how consumers have been using it to judge the purchase and sales of products. This has been evidenced by the near biennial expansion of each award that exists, with additional categories to accommodate new types of businesses that are drawn into the opportunities afforded to them through the processes and, of course, the awarding of a National Quality Award. And like the chairman, Mr. Dupre, said, we're looking forward to helping to make this a sustainable National Quality Awards program in Trinidad and Tobago. Past winners of the awards have commented on the fact that winning boosts employee morale and productivity, because everybody now sees the value of what he or she does in working towards and feeling the value of their contribution to the country development. Companies have also remarked that it also encourages their journey towards continuous improvement and also towards looking to national quality institutions such as the Bureau to assist with information and development practices. It allows businesses to showcase and brand their own products and services, as well as their employees. This is the habit-forming behavior we spoke about at the start of these remarks and the quality culture development that Mr. Ramkisoon from TTMA spoke about. National Quality Awards have even encouraged firms to move to the next step beyond implementing standards, which in some cases includes certification and accreditation of the two institutions that you're hearing about today. And to achieve accreditation is no easy feat. So we congratulate those two organizations heartily today for making that journey. So we urge companies here in Trinidad and Tobago to take advantage of this opportunity to take part in the National Quality Awards. It will afford you the opportunity to have your company audited for quality parameters and to help you see where quality can be improved, not only as an enabling factor, but also as a business strategy in its own right for your company. At the CrossQ Secretariat, we are heartened by the hard work that has been put in by the national teams and committees here on the ground, led by Ms. Felicia Thomas, to get to this point. And we're even more enthused to see that the process continues, in that we would like to continue to support this National Quality Awards program in Trinidad and Tobago. If our consciousness of quality is to be fostered in Trinidad and Tobago, this is really a good leverage point to carry us further, because the opportunities for education and behavioral change are twofold, and we have the chance to learn more about quality and take those necessary measures into our home life too. So we say congratulations to TTBS, to the director, new, Mr. Jose Trejo. You can be proud of the amount of work your staff and committees have put it in to this point, and it's great that you have just recently arrived to take this to a new level. So everything is new, everything is refreshed, and everything will take off even more so than it's been in the past. So we'd like to congratulate everybody for being here. Thank you for taking the time and attention. And thanks to the Honorable Minister in the EU for really supporting this whole agenda. Thanks very much, everybody.
And yes, I will have to adjust it every time I come up, Derek. So thank you very much for your remarks, and we continue to look forward to developing our relationship and working my strength with CrossQ as we develop our national quality systems in our region and in Trinidad and Tobago. Now to speak a little bit more about the National Quality Awards, please allow me to introduce Ms. Vashti Gayadeen, the chairperson of the National Quality Awards Committee and the CEO of the Trinidad and Tobago Coalition of Services Industry. We don't have, and I don't have to adjust the mic.
Thank you, Derek. Good morning, Minister, Ambassador, members of the head table. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am pleased to be here this morning in my capacity as chairperson of the National Quality Awards. Exceptional quality and standards are characteristics that distinguish sustainable and successful firms across the globe. What we are seeking to do here today is inculcate a culture of high quality and standards into the fabric of society, so that when you consume a product or service from Trinidad and Tobago, your experience is worthy and world-class. Quality is the foundation block of ensuring that Trinidad and Tobago firms are separated from its competitors. And this translates into increased revenues, profits, and thereby leading to job creation for nationals, and also positions Trinidad and Tobago firms to export their services and products internationally. In closing, I know there are 11 speeches, so I kept it short. In closing, we look forward to receiving applications from micro, small, and medium-sized businesses from the following sectors: manufacturing, agriculture, agro-processing, and services by June 16. That's the deadline. Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome all citizens and businesses in this movement that focuses on enhancing the standard of the Made in Trinidad and Tobago and Go Global TT Services brand. This is the mechanism through which we can truly be, and I'm borrowing from TTMA, truly be proudly TT. I thank you.
Thank you, CEO Vashti, for helping us to shave some time off the clock, and we are right now on schedule. So we have a video presentation.
Are you involved in the manufacturing, agriculture and agro-processing, services, or micro, small and medium-sized enterprises? Then the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards is on the hunt for businesses with a quality advantage. This is your opportunity to get recognized locally, regionally, and internationally. Apply today. To learn more, visit gottbs.com. Deadline for applications is June 16th. Let's build a culture of quality in TNT.
Short and sweet. So if I could now invite Ambassador Peter Cavendish, of the head of delegation, European Union delegation to Trinidad and Tobago.
Senator, the Honourable Paula Gopi-Scoon, Minister for Trade and Industry, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Your country, under the Economic Partnership Agreement with Europe, has access to a market of 447 million people in 27 countries. Your country has that access. Your country is innovative and creative, and you have a quality culture already. Think about how you have your doubles. You know good doubles from bad immediately. But that culture has got to continue, has got to be promoted. There's no other way forward. Consider that the bulk of European commerce, our imports, arrive by plane in value terms. I'm not talking about cars and the cubic meters. In value terms, quality products, the value of which exceeds the majority of European imports, come in by plane. We have flowers flown from Israel, flowers flown from East Africa, but consider how the advantage of distance has been diminished by modern transport, by modern technological sharing. We are putting 21.6 billion euros into building up educational capacity at third levels, a good part of which can go to laboratories. We will give grants from 100 to 400,000 euros to allow technological exchange between universities, vocational institutes, technical institutes. So we are seeing for us in Europe being food insecure, being energy insecure, and with our climate not be able to produce a great many of the products that we want. But Europeans will never ever sacrifice on quality. You can forget it. The messages here today that have been passed by the previous speakers are entirely on target. And excuse me, I have a problem with Sahara dust. That quality I can't control. The issues today are actually going to accelerate. More and more, the American administration, the world's second largest, I'm sorry to say, but the second largest single market after Europe, look to European quality standards. They go and they meet our people who are standard setting. So in 2 to 3 years' time, maybe in Europe we'll be in a race for competitive standard setting with the Americans, but we are pretty advanced at the moment. We are comfortable with our position, but we know it's going to change. You desperately need these awards. You desperately need these laboratories. We've no way around it to give the consumer what they want. We can't force the consumer to buy things, and in Europe, quality is a habit. I'm going to say that we are here available in the European Union. We're very happy to have financed the 11th EDF, to have given economic support to these laboratories and other matters. We have funds going forwards which are more orientated towards technical institutes, vocational bodies. We are also in a communication mechanism. We can facilitate exchanges, including with the administration here in this country for quality standards. And under the European TAIEX scheme, we're able to bring experts from Europe on issues such as phytosanitary training to give in-depth professional training in specialist areas. I know time is very precious this morning, but European consumers, that market of 447 million people, is an open door for the right quality product. It is an open door. We, as I've said, we're food insecure, we're energy insecure, a great many things we cannot produce for ourselves. But there will be no compromise in quality, but you can deliver. You will deliver. You have delivered. Thank you very much.
Ambassador, thank you. A lot of the development we've seen in quality systems doesn't only stem from the 11th EDF, but during my time over the last 15 years in this business, from the 8th to the 9th to the 10th to the 11th, and we're not going to have a 12th EDF, but something new. Thank you very much. I would now like to invite Ms. Rihanna Paul, Manager, Trade and Business Development of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce.
Thank you, Mr. Trejo. Senator to the Honorable Paula Gopi-Scoon, Ambassador Cavendish, distinguished members of the head table, audience members, good morning. It is my pleasure this morning to deliver remarks on behalf of the Trinidad and Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce and the Subcommittee 2 of the National Quality Council. On both their behalf, I extend congratulations to all involved in the launch of the National Quality Awards. The benefits of quality have been explained this morning, so I won't repeat, but I will borrow from English writer John Ruskin to say that quality is never an accident. It is always the result of intelligent effort. There must be a will to produce a superior product, and I will also add to deliver a superior service. As such, I believe that the National Quality Awards will recognize that effort and will and the contribution that companies are making to our economic growth companies that produce high-quality products or offer high-quality services and are able to compete in the international arena. The second aspect of today's program is also a proud moment for the National Quality Council, and in particular, Subcommittee 2. By now, you're probably wondering, what is Subcommittee 2? Well, very early on, the National Quality Council, I believe it was at our 5th meeting, we realized we needed to have a focus on the implementation plan of the National Quality Policy on specific components. And so the subcommittees were established. Subcommittee 2 oversees the implementation of Component 3 of the National Quality Policy, which addresses physical infrastructure development, capacity building, and organizational strengthening. As stated in our National Quality Policy, quality can be realized through utilizing appropriate modern facilities and infrastructure, human resources, organizational systems, relevant management structures, and an overall institutional development strategy. In this regard, the following aspects are undertaken under Component 3. Projects that assess the needs of priority sectors, the creation of new and modern metrology and testing labs, the development of specialized training programs and good regulatory practices, the promotion of quality in procurement processes in both the public and private sectors, and the creation of a pragmatic approach to knowledge sharing with the private sector. Importantly, and one of the reasons we are gathered at TTBS today, is under Component 3, it also includes a project to develop and execute an accreditation program for public laboratories. Laboratory accreditation is critical to support activities within all sectors identified for growth and export. For example, with respect to the food and beverage industry, when our exporters embark on market access initiatives in foreign countries, they are often faced with very strict rules for traceability as it relates to food safety. This includes the General Food Law Regulation from the European Union and the US FDA Food Safety Modernization Act, FSMA. Having the test results from accredited laboratories would allow for increased acceptance by the regulators in these markets. So while I'm happy to report that work is underway in 4 of these major areas identified above, I am even happier today that we highlight the accomplishments of 2 public laboratories who will be recognized for the competence of their testing processes under the accreditation program for public laboratories. Their respective labs would have undergone a gap analysis, training, quality management system documentation, and proficiency testing. Having completed these aspects successfully, today we can say congratulations to the National Petroleum Company and to the Institute of Marine Affairs. Sure. I would also like to recognize the team at the Bureau of Standards, Felicia, who diligently reports to Subcommittee 2 almost every month on the progress, and for getting us to this milestone. And we know it doesn't end here. Under Project Call 2, efforts are already underway to assist additional public laboratories to prepare and establish their respective management systems for accreditation. The intention is to have all public laboratories accredited by fiscal year 2029-2030. Ladies and gentlemen, ultimately, the private sector gains the most from having a national quality infrastructure, since it helps to enhance the competitiveness of businesses. This policy is intended to help Trinidad and Tobago's business sector exploit commercial opportunities, to compete in global markets, and to participate in international value chains. It aims to overcome the difficulties faced by local firms in demonstrating compliance with quality requirements, trade rules, and thus benefiting from the globalized economy. As a result, the TNT Chamber and the wider private sector remains committed to assisting in the implementation of the National Quality Policy and being actively involved with all key stakeholders in the quality infrastructure. Congratulations again to all, and I thank you.
Thank you very much. I'd like now to invite Mr. Jan Gormandy, the Chief Executive Officer acting from the National Petroleum Marketing Company Limited.
As instructed, all protocols observed. Minister, thank you for that time-saving tip. And I will be trying my best to keep away from any road condition stories, right? Pleasant good morning to our esteemed guests. Let me first say that it is indeed an honor to be part of today's National Quality Award launch and to deliver remarks on behalf of NP. I wish to express gratitude to the Trinidad and Tobago Laboratory Accreditation Service for selecting NP as one of 2 laboratories to participate in the Ministry of Trade and Industry's National Accreditation Program. The achievement of this international standard is of strategic importance for NP, as it enhances the public's confidence in the company's test results and improves our ability to compete globally. We are indeed proud that the competence of NP's laboratory to provide technically valid viscosity results has been recognized. The story of NP's laboratory dates as far back as 1973. As NP's range of lubricants expanded over the years, improvements were made to the facility and by extension, the testing process. In fact, once these improvements were made, we were able to secure contracts with several multinational brands, such as Texaco, Shell, and Bel-Ray, and we continue to aggressively pursue additional contract blends. Our lab is equipped with temperature-controlled baths, viscometers, calibrated stopwatches, thermometers, certified reference materials, and suction devices to determine the viscosity of transparent liquids at 40 and 100 degrees Celsius, and in accordance with ASTM D445 2132 standard. Today, the facility is responsible for quality control and quality assurance of all raw materials and finished products, as well as fuels, which we market to the motoring public. We blend a wide range of automotive and industrial lubricants, including engine oils, gear oils, industrial oils, and transmission fluids. And I've actually been told, we put an additive in our lubricants. It's a friction modification that if you were to use it in our Ultra products, it actually gives your car a very smooth ride as though there were no potholes present. I couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. But I've been told, so you can give it a try. As a leading provider of world-class blends of lubricants, the accurate determination of viscosity is essential to specifications and final use of NP products. For us, the accreditation is a testament to the fact that the laboratory fulfills the technical and management requirements of ISO IEC 17025 2017 standard, while consistently delivering technically valid test results that meet the requirements for the competent, impartial, and consistent operation of our laboratory. It would be remiss of me if I did not thank and congratulate the team who played an instrumental role in the achievement of this accreditation. In the face of the global pandemic and its associated challenges, our quality team went above and beyond to ensure that the resources required to make the venture a success were available. So, to our NPs, Kevin Mutilal, Valine Robinson, Peter Ransom, and Afton Collymore, and our consultant, Lorianne Kane, I say a heartfelt thanks and wish to assure them that their efforts and work and commitment have not gone unnoticed. As we forge ahead, we will constantly strive to seek accreditation for additional tests in the future, including density of petroleum products, as a further demonstration of our technical competence. In closing, I wish to express gratitude to TT Labs and by extension the TT Bureau of Standards for granting us this accreditation and for their support in this process. We recognize and applaud your role in ensuring that testing facilities throughout the country uphold international standards, thereby setting them on a strong global path. I thank you and do have a wonderful day.
Okay, so moving along, can I now invite Mr. Cyril Bess, the Director Acting from the Institute of Marine Affairs.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Good morning to the head table, Minister. Good morning. I will be speaking on Mr. Cyril Best. My name is Kyle Williams. I'll be representing the Institute of Marine Affairs. I would like to give the journey concerning the accreditation process that we would have gone through at the Institute of Marine Affairs. We started in 2005, where we were seeking accreditation at that time. However, the accreditation process fell through, and we never revised the process. Since then, the standards would have been revised, and the Institute of Marine Affairs would have taken the approach in 2018 to go back to the drawing board and have our test scopes accredited. So happened in December 2018, I saw TTBS would have advertised a program where they can get accredited. So happened, I called my director and I said, look, we might not have to spend that money if we get through with this. So because the consultant fee is actually, you know, it's a little pricey, and our organization doesn't generate funds like that. So we decided to go that route. We applied, and because we had all the processes in place, I was pretty confident that we would have gotten through. So happened in 2019, we were acknowledged that we received the award to start, and we started training. The training was very beneficial to all our employees. Some would have had experience with quality, some would have had experience with safety, so it wasn't a hard process for us to catch on. So happened, COVID came, and that made the whole process a little tedious for us, because we had to go from learning something new and using all these online platforms. Some of the meetings were online, but we adjusted, TTBS adjusted as well, and we started the process where we were assigned Miss Laurie Kanai as our consultant. I must say special thanks to her, because I must say special, look her right there smiling. I must say special thanks to her because she made the process very smooth. I think without her, we probably might not have gotten through, because every day and night, even 12 o'clock at night, I would be messaging Laurie, I have a problem, and she was very responsive, and I want to say special thank you for that on behalf of IMA. The involvement of a consultant is very important. If you don't have a good consultant in this process, you are not going to make anything out of it. So if any organization is in here that is looking to follow the same process and onto the same program as us, I recommend you get, if not Miss Lorianne, you get a consultant just as good who's willing to be part with you and your organization. For the 2 entire years, she was part of our organization. She knew all the confusion that go on. She knew all the gossip. She knew everything. And that also helped her pattern, okay, how we would approach certain departments to make our departments strong. And I very much appreciate that. In closing, I would like to say thank you to all the stakeholders who would have been in the background pushing that I may not have known. I'd like to say thank you on behalf of the Institute of Marine Affairs. I would like to also say thank you to all the staff at TTBS. They were very helpful, every one of them. Even today, even till this day, I would still call Miss Sarah Knox and so on to ask about getting equipment calibrated and so on. So it was a very nice program. I think every organization will benefit from it. In closing, I'd like to say thank you to everyone.
Thank you. You mentioned Lorianne. Is it Lorianne Keane? We've worked with Lorianne before in Belize. It's been a while, Lorianne. It's too long. That was like 10 years ago, more, 12. And so have I grade. Well, it's good to see you. I hope we can chat with you after. Well, now we have the presentation of the accreditation certificate. So, Minister, Chairman, would Can I ask Ms. Carlene Lewis to please join us in the presentation of the awards? So the first presentation is for the National Petroleum Marketing Company. Can I now ask the Institute of Marine Affairs? Okay, so let me introduce, ask the Senator, the Honorable Paula Gopee-Scoon, to make her feature address.
Good morning, everyone, and let me acknowledge the head table and also especially a warm welcome to Jose Trejo, to Trinidad and Tobago, and to the Ministry of Trade and Industry and Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards families. We go on. I'm delighted to be here today to deliver this feature address at the launch of the inaugural National Quality Awards program in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as to recognize the National Petroleum Marketing Company and Institute of Marine Affairs for their achievement under the Accreditation of Public Laboratories program. And these two projects we consider to be major deliverables under the national quality policy in Trinidad and Tobago. And it is indicative of government's ongoing support for the implementation of this policy and its commitment to developing a robust national quality infrastructure in Trinidad and Tobago. I commend the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards for hosting this event, for celebrating these milestones. And today's engagement is a manifestation of the Bureau's efforts in fulfilling its obligation to improve the quality and performance of goods and services traded in Trinidad and Tobago through the promotion and implementation of the national quality policy. The global trading environment continues to present challenges and opportunities relating to the entry of goods into foreign markets. And this has reinforced the need for a renewed approach to managing this situation by regulatory agencies such as the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards doing what it has to do. To create a more predictable trading environment, the regulatory regime must be predicated on the development of a more robust and integrated quality infrastructure locally, regionally, and internationally. And in response to this need, the CARICOM Regional Organization for Standards and Quality spearheaded the development of a regional quality policy in 2019. And Derek Omar, who is here with us today, has been at the forefront of this program. And this policy addressed various quality issues and mandated the development of a quality ecosystem by countries throughout the region. The policy at the regional level created the platform for the development of greater quality consciousness within the region and has been the impetus for the development of a globally recognized regional quality infrastructure. Accordingly, countries such as Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Grenada, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dominica, Antigua and Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia and Suriname have taken the lead in implementing their respective national quality policies. The National Quality Policy for Trinidad and Tobago was approved by Cabinet in 2018 and is in its implementation phase. A key element of the NQP was the establishment of a National Quality Council comprised of stakeholders from the private and public sectors, as well as academia, to operationalize the policy. The policy is essential in ensuring our competitiveness among local firms, improving market access and facilitating sustainable economic growth and development in Trinidad and Tobago. The policy also ensures the country's compliance with international trade agreements, such as the World Trade Organization, Technical Barriers to Trade Agreement, as well as other international and regional obligations. Component 4 of the policy underscores the importance of creating a quality-centric culture that promotes the principles and practices of an effective and robust quality management system. And in keeping with this goal, the Ministry of Trade and Industry, the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards, and the National Quality Culture collaborated with CrossQ to conceptualize the development of a National Quality Awards program for Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm keenly interested in this program being a success. And so we joined with our other CARICOM member states in implementing this program at the regional level. Accordingly, I wish to acknowledge the support of the European Union in this program in Trinidad and Tobago, and I wish to thank you very specially, Ambassador Cavendish, for all of the efforts of the European Union in supporting many of our programs, not only at the Bureau, but at the Ministry of Trade and Industry as well. The National Quality Awards program will recognize quality-driven businesses involved in the manufacturing, agriculture, and agro-processing, the services sectors, including micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises that, inter alia, have successfully demonstrated the adoption and use of standards in their processes and operations, and again, have a quality management system in place that works. Nominees and recipients of an award in any of the categories would benefit from global brand recognition, enhanced consumer confidence, and increased competitive advantage. And this, in turn, will reinforce the importance of quality and performance excellence in our country. It is my expectation that this recognition will motivate other companies to increase their efforts on quality management issues within their respective businesses. And therefore, I take the opportunity to invite all eligible businesses to be part of the program and to be recognized as a leader in quality management in our country. In order to compete globally, their country's standards for testing must be aligned with globally recognized benchmarks. And as such, the Accreditation of Public Laboratories program provides the underlying quality assurance that these organizations adhere to standards such as the International Organization for Standardization, ISO, and the International Technical Commission, 17025, 2017, which is the primary international standard for testing and calibration in laboratories, as well as ISO IEC 15189, 2022 for medical laboratories. And being ISO and IEC accredited signals that these labs now possess robust quality management systems which minimize risks and support quality and proficiency in their test results, demonstrating their capacity to deliver dependable results that are accepted internationally. And given the immense benefits that can be derived from this accreditation, I encourage other local public laboratories and conformity assessment bodies to commence the quality assurance journey through accreditation. The Trinidad and Tobago National Petroleum Marketing Company and the Institute of Marine Affairs were the first two public laboratories to participate in the program, and I was so pleased to hear the reports today. I want to extend great congratulations to NP and IMA for receiving accreditation on the Accreditation of Public Laboratories program. The award of the accreditation certificates today is testament of their commitment to strengthening the laboratories' management systems in alignment with international standards. This accreditation is a significant milestone for public laboratories as it supports the acceptance of their test results in foreign markets and also provides for greater business and consumer confidence. And this achievement will mitigate the various technical barriers to trade when entering foreign markets and help to ensure that the goods produced in Trinidad and Tobago conform to global quality standards, thereby facilitating enhanced competitiveness, increased sales. And in keeping with achievements in accreditation, the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards recently received an accreditation award from the Jamaica National Agency for Accreditation, JNAC. And this is a noteworthy achievement, as the certificate division of the TTBS is the first certification body in the Caribbean to be accredited by JNAC with the ISO IEC 17021, 2015, which is the standard for quality management systems. This achievement will further strengthen the national quality infrastructure and the architecture in Trinidad and Tobago as it validates the Bureau's certification division as an efficient provider for auditing and certification services of management systems. I also take the opportunity to congratulate and highlight again that the Ministry of Trade and Industry and the TTBS are collaborating with the Chief Parliamentary Council to expeditiously finalize the legislation to establish an independent accreditation body for Trinidad and Tobago in keeping with Component 1 of the National Quality Policy, which focuses on governance and institution building. The Trinidad and Tobago Laboratory Accreditation Service, the existing local accreditation body, is being transitioned to the Trinidad and Tobago Accreditation Service for Conformity Assessment, TITASCA, and this will ensure the availability of internationally recognized accredited laboratory services, which will enhance the country's international trade performance. And I would say that we are well ahead in terms of the preparation of the legislation, and we look forward to this being brought before the Parliament within this fiscal 2023. Additionally, the Ministry of Trade and Industry and Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards are also finalizing the review and modernization of the Standards Act and the Metrology Act to ensure compliance with the WTO-TBT agreement. And updating these pieces of legislation would also complement the accreditation of public laboratories program and therefore contributing again to the overall development of the national quality infrastructure. And this initiative is reflective of the government's ongoing commitment to creating this robust national quality infrastructure and building a quality ecosystem in Trinidad and Tobago. I want to thank the Trinidad and Tobago Bureau of Standards for its focus and its dedication in achieving this milestone of launching this prestigious awards program. Congratulations once again to the National Petroleum Marketing Company Limited and the Institute of Marine Affairs on this momentous achievement. And of course, to your valued stakeholders, your presence today underscores your commitment to building a quality culture in Trinidad and Tobago. And again, without your effort and your dedication, this will not be achievable. I want to again reiterate that quality must be pervasive. It must not be another cliche that we only talk about and act very little on. Rather, quality issues must be translated into tangible representations of who we are and what we do and what we produce. And it must be personified by us and be infused as part of our culture. And I leave you with the very inspiring words of Henry Ford, a global market leader. Quality means doing it right when no one is looking. And I thank you again.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you for your hearty welcome to the family of the TTBS and the ministry. So I look forward to collaborate with your ministry in carrying forward our national agenda for quality infrastructure systems, our national quality policy. So I have the honor of closing this event. I want to reflect on my experience. In pre-COVID in 2019, I had the opportunity to be part of the committee for a National Tourism Awards. And apart from going to visit very luxurious resorts, some that I probably wouldn't be able to afford, in Belize, I had the opportunity to be on the ground, to see industry live, and to understand the inner churnings of our services sector, and understand how dynamic, how robust it is. More importantly, the people who make the industry. Tourism would not survive in Belize without the people. And that for me was very rewarding in that it allowed me to interact and to understand how important they are to the industry. And it allowed me to be in touch with a sector that contributes more than 50% of Belize's national gross domestic product. I say this because I want to draw a parallel on the importance of this National Quality Awards. What it does is to put us in the front seat. It allows us to work closely with industry, to work closely with our clients, and to ensure that quality, as you see, Minister, has national currency. That is ideally what we want to do, to ensure that our systems, our processes, and our practices have a national currency. This National Quality Awards is part of a greater national quality infrastructure framework. And this is ideally what we're trying to do through the National Quality Awards. This is just one element of it. You heard about the labs today forming part of a greater framework for conformity assessment. That is critical for the National Quality Infrastructure Framework. I want to end by saying that this national quality policy that we are talking about, this National Quality Infrastructure Framework that we're talking about, is not the Bureau's alone. This is our policy. This is our National Quality Infrastructure Framework. And I say this because I want us to understand that this is a collaborative effort and that we will not move this national agenda for quality systems if we don't have that collaboration. I want to thank you very much for your presence here today. Minister, most appreciated for you being here today, and thanks for helping us to shape the agenda. Ambassador, thank you very much for your presence. See you, Derek Omar. Good to see you. We'll catch up with you in April. Thank you very much. Chairman, thank you. My chairman. Forgot my chairman. Chairman, a pleasure to have you today with us. Grateful for your presence. Thank you very, very much, everyone, and do have a pleasant afternoon. I think we have snacks. We have refreshments. I think we have refreshments. I see refreshments. We have refreshments.
Right. We'd like to ask the head table just to remain seated for a few minutes and our specially invited guests, if you would remain seated for a few minutes so that we can allow the rest of the members of the audience to leave, and we would be taking some photographs.